Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ehannon's Random Facts. Did you know that if you win the lottery for $10 million, you will fall into the highest tax bracket, meaning you will have to pay at least 37% in taxes, meaning you will have to pay $3.7 million out of your $10 million, leaving you with 6.3. To add further insult to injury, depending on which state you are in and how their tax brackets work, you will then have to pay further taxes to the state. If you are in New York with the highest, it is 8.82%, meaning you will have to pay an additional $882,000, meaning you will then be around 4.5 million in payment, and you will be receiving 5.5 million out of your 10 million, with Ohio being the lowest, I believe. If you receive a gift of over $1 million, you will be paying 40% in taxes. So if you receive $10 million, you will actually only be receiving $6 million and paying the government $4 million. Super random fact. Should we fear McDonald's French fries? Now, I know you all are probably utterly sick of vegetarians, people that eat tofu, and vegans throwing things in your face. But if I were you, I'd follow along because this one holds some validity. So a man named Michael Pollan had an issue with McDonald's, not for any nutritional shortcomings of its fries, but for accepting only potatoes of a certain size and shape, shunning any with blemishes caused by aphids. That Pollan suggests forces farmers to use pesticides such as monitor, not going to pronounce that, which he deems to be particularly dangerous. Indeed, he points out that this chemical is so toxic that farmers who grow these potatoes in Idaho won't venture outside and into their fields for 5 days after they spray, and goes on to say that the potatoes have to be stored in a giant shed for 6 weeks so they have time to off-gas all the chemicals in them. 6 weeks. This is the food that they are serving. This is not a lie. This is real. Another super random fact. According to NASA, in 2023 annual climate report, or the NOAA, should I say, I'm sorry, the combined land and ocean temperature has increased at an average rate of 0.11 degrees, or 0.11 degrees Fahrenheit, 0.06 Celsius per decade since the 1850s, or about 2 degrees Fahrenheit in total. The rate of warming since 1982 is more than 3 times as fast, at 0.36 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0.20 Celsius per decade. So let's say that number stays at a constant and does not go up at all. In 100 years, so let's say it doesn't multiply and go up 3 times even further. In 10 years, that means that they will go up 0.36 degrees. That means in 100 years, it will go up 3.6 degrees. That means in 1,000 years, it will go up 36 degrees. But just so you know, the sun will utterly begin to mutate and mutilate people who are not equipped to handle this type of environment. The sun is getting brighter. They say not enough to notice, mind you, right? In fact, it'll take more than 100,000 human lifetimes for it to go up for 1%. So the luminosity, right? They're saying it'll take 100,000 human lifetimes, not years, but human lifetimes for 1%. But the temperature gradually increases almost a degree every 30 years, right? Actually, more than a degree every 30 years. Okay. Astronomers have gotten a sneak peek at what could be Earth's ultimate fate in about 5 million years, when the sun reaches the end of its life and engulfs the solar system's inner planets, including possibly our own. That's a probability. What the facts I'm about to give you are not racism, so just follow along. When it starts to die, the sun will expand into a red giant star, becoming so large that it will engulf Mercury and Venus and possibly Earth as well. Scientists predict the sun is a little less than halfway through its lifetime and will last another 5 billion years or so, right? That's an assumption. Darwinism, the theory of evolution of species by natural selection advanced by Charles Darwin. Darwinism is a theory of biological evolution developed by the English naturalist Charles Darwin and others, stating that all species of organisms arise and develop through the natural selection of small inherited variations that increase the individual's ability to compete, survive, and reproduce. Now I'm bringing this up for a reason. What is melanin? Melanin consists of oligomers or polymers arranged in a disordered manner, which among the functions provide the pigments of many organisms. Melanin pigments are produced in a specialized group of cells known as melanocytes. They have been described as among the last remaining biological frontiers with the unknown. Why don't African Americans burn in the sun or aren't as affected by UV radiation as more fair-skinned people? Darker skin has more protection from the sun because it contains higher levels of melanin. This is a pigment that gives the skin color and helps protect cells from some forms of sun damage. This makes people with darker skin less likely to experience sunburn. So I said all that to say this. Anybody with any real common sense and or is able to critically think about things in a manner that isn't selfish and or egotistical to one's own self would quickly realize that within the next 1,000 years, there could even be what would be considered a fiery ice age. So when I say that, I am not saying there's going to be fire ice. I'm saying possibly not an extinction event, but the beginning of an extinction event for people who cannot handle the sun and or the radiation, for people who are built for climates that are more designed for winter and or cloudy mountain type climates. So the irony is the same thing that a lot of people, not all people, but the same thing a lot of people hate and want destroyed and euthanized would be the only possible way to ensure the longevity of a species or part of a species. And so people who are not mixed whatsoever are going to have a lot harder times in the future unless we invent some type of sunblock, which I haven't seen yet, that universally protects. So I hope that last one makes sense. I wouldn't call it a prophecy. I'd call it a prediction or a warning. And anybody who can clearly hear what I'm saying could see what could possibly happen in the future towards the human species or a part of the human species who are not equipped to handle the future environment. Have a nice day.